Hey guys, this short video, think of this video as an extension to homework 1. What I'm going to cover in this video is deflections, level 1 deflections, also dodging, bobbing, and weaving. So let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, so I would demonstrate these techniques from what's called a neutral stance, which is feet shoulder width apart, how a person normally would stand in everyday life. But since you can't see me in full frame, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate these techniques from an open horse. Okay, get centered. Guard hands up. Okay, so when I say deflections, I don't mean block, obviously. A deflection is a redirection of the oncoming strike, the oncoming attack, whereas a block, you would take the attack straight on. See, the attacks are going to come to you down what's called center line. If you imagine a line cutting you in half vertically, that is your center line. Most oncoming attacks are going to come at you, in this vicinity. So doing blocks, you'd be blocking those off of center line, doing hard blocks. And that takes a lot of energy. You have to contract, you have to use a lot of muscle power. Whereas a deflection, you're actually just going to guide the strike off of center line using much, much less energy. You're pretty much just getting out of the way. So let me show you. Guard hands up. I'm going to show you first white crane deflections. So imagine a strike coming to my head or coming to my upper body. This is what a white crane deflection up high would look like. So if it came on this side. Notice that I can shift in my stance once again. That's vital. And also I'm using hip rotation to guide the strike off of center line. So here we go again. Does that make sense? I'm just getting out of the way. So if our strike was coming in, okay? And you can also use these white crane deflections low. If you had attacks coming in down here, the lower abdomen, it could be a kick. You're just going to guide it off of the body. Drop that arm down, rotate around the hips. Okay, so does that make sense? You might get snagged. You might even get hit by the oncoming attack when doing deflections, but that's okay. As long as you're rotating, as long as you have engaged, with the back of the hand, as long as you're guiding that attack away from your center line, you're not going to take as much damage. It might just graze off you. The impact, it won't be so severe that it'll cause you real damage, hopefully. So the other deflections I'm going to show you are tiger claw deflections. And these deflections you actually do across the body. So these ones are up high. Notice how I shift in stance and I rotate. That rotation is really important. If I just went like this and I didn't rotate, that's really not going to guide the oncoming attack off of my body, especially if that's a really strong, powerful attack. Okay, you need that rotation in there. You need to rotate those hips. And pivot in stance. You can get away from the attack. Depending how close it is to your face or to your center line, you can really get out of the way. It's perfectly acceptable if you have to extend as far with the body. Tiger claw deflections, so you can also go low with them. And these are across, right? So if you had low strikes to the abdomen or kicks, you just deflect downward and across. Guard hands up. The other guard hand, notice it stays where it needs to stay, by the face. The hand that's not doing anything, that's idle and needs to be up as a guard hand, by the face. Rotate and shift. Shift out of the way. Just guide the attack. So you're actually, unlike white crane deflections, which uses the back of the hand to engage the strike and redirect. In tire claw deflections, you're actually using this, the palm. Don't think of it as a push. Even though it appears that way, it's still just a guide. You're using minimal energy. Let the legs and hips do the work. Don't let that upper body tense up. Okay? Next, dodging. This is when you don't have to use a deflection. You know, the strikes, the oncoming strikes from the opponent, they're not always going to be in range. However, they might be close enough to tap you to make contact. And so you wouldn't need to extend out a hand with white crane or tire claw deflections. You could just keep guard hands up and really just shift out of the way. Use hip rotation. Just shift out of the way. Strikes coming in here. Shift. 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 Okay? So that's, in essence, that's how you dodge. That's an easy introduction to dodging. And then there's also bobbing and weaving, which actually requires you to do a level change in stance. This is one of the downsides to bobbing and weaving a whole lot, because you will be going up and down. You will be engaging in a squat. Okay? And that will affect your breath if you go up and down, you know, time and time and time again. But it is effective, even still. The strike's coming to the face. You just sink into a squat, sink into the stance, and shift. Shift side to side. Imagine that there is like a tightrope right here above your head, and you have to go underneath that rope, or like a metal beam. Imagine there was like a metal beam here on the side of my head. So if I just went like that, if I just kicked over, it would hit the side of my head. So what I need to do is go under it. Go under it. Okay? You might have a strike coming to the face. You can just get out of the way. Just like that. You don't have to deflect all the time. And for a bob and weave, you don't really need to incorporate the hip rotation. It's just change in level of your stance. And then shifting one side to the other. Okay? So what I'm going to do now, go ahead and get into a guard hand position, either from the open horse or from a neutral stance. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to punch the camera. See this? Imagine that fist is actually in your face right now. So that'll be an indicator in where you need to deflect. If you see this, that's a punch coming across the body. Here it is again from the other direction. If you see this, that's coming right here, right here. It's not coming to the face though. Remember, this is to the face, right on the camera, right on the camera lens. That's to the face. So keep that in mind. These would engage your white crane deflections. Okay. If I do this, down low and cross, you'll know that I'm going at an angle to the lower body, and therefore you can engage that tire claw deflection at a downward angle. Okay? If I go like this, if I angle those punches down, if they look like they're coming down but straight, then engage those white crane deflections. Okay? So let's just do this for a little bit. The last few seconds I have left. Okay?